Hey everyone, Dave K here, and today we're going to talk about the top 10 things that I like to do at Epcot. Epcot's got some fantastic attractions and food as well. Let's talk about it. Talking about my 10 favorite things to do in Epcot today, I gotta start with number 1, and this is probably one of my favorites in Epcot, so if you haven't done this one before, let me know if you're thinking about it, or why not, or if you don't like it, let me know. Number 1 for me is gonna be Soarin'. I absolutely love Soarin'. You know, it's such a great one. You go up in the air and you can see all around where you're traveling over. It was recently traveling over California, soaring over California. Now we're soaring around the world. I think I like soaring around the world a tiny bit better, but you know what? They're both awesome. You know, I'm not unhappy either way. It's a great ride, you know, and I really liked, this is I guess kind of a throwback here, but I really liked Food Rocks before Soarin'. It was like, oh, okay, no, Food Rocks leaving. But Soarin's a great one, so I'm not arguing with that that change, that replacement here. Although I'd love to see Food Rocks back again as well. Anyways, but detouring from the point here, Soarin' is one of my top attractions to go on in Epcot. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't done it before. You kind of go up in the air and you fly over, if you will, all these different areas. You've got a screen in front of you and you'll have some smells and some sights, some wind rushing past you. Overall, it's a great experience. Number 2 for me in Epcot is Frozen Ever After. Now, I do like Frozen Ever After. I've only done it actually once so far, but I've always loved that classic Norway ride. I even liked it back when it was the Norway ride, Maelstrom. It was great back then as well. But Frozen Ever After is great as well. It's nice to see those Frozen characters in the park, you know, nice to see them in Epcot. Olaf is definitely way up there for one of my favorite characters of Disney movies and sort of overall in Disney, so he's a really great one. So great to see a little bit of Olaf in Epcot. Definitely a ride worth making the time for if you haven't been on Frozen Ever After. It's a great attraction. It's kind of a boat ride where you'll go forward and backwards. Not too intense, but there's some slight drops. So again, I wouldn't really call this an intense one, but it is a boat ride. You may get barely wet, sprinkled if you will, but there are some light drops. Number 3 for me is Test Track. I really like Test Track. I've liked Test Track for a long time. You know, my brother and I used to go growing up, and it was a fantastic ride. We've loved Test Track, and it's changed a lot, but again, we still continue to love Test Track. I don't think I can really compare previous Test Track to this Test Track, but they're both great. I do like the updates and what they've done with it, especially how you can build your own vehicle, so that's really cool as well. But more or less, what it is you sit in a vehicle and you race around this sort of track. You're testing a car to make sure that it's in good usable condition, it meets certain requirements to be able to be a vehicle. So you see what sort of a testing environment would be like for a car. It can be a little bit fast-paced at times. There's I think a 60-mile-an-hour speedway on the outside that you'll zip around. One of my favorite parts, but it does go a little bit fast. Overall, really fun ride, and I would say it's one of the more thrill rides in Epcot. Number 4, definitely worth checking out in this area, is Mission Space. If you haven't been on Mission Space, again, it's another attraction that's changed a lot. I'm sensing a theme here, and you're going to continue to sense that theme. But Mission Space has changed a lot. They do have a orange and a green mission, so depending upon what level of intensity you're looking for, you should be able to find something that's right for you. Orange can be very intense. I haven't been on green recently. I've heard they changed it, but last time I'd been on green, that was kind of the way I opted to go. So, you know, it's a more mild ride, nice and relaxing. You can sort of see what a journey to space would be like without having to deal with too many G-forces. So you can really get those G-forces in the Mission Orange. So look at that green mission if you're looking for a more mild version. But overall, a great ride with some great sort of story, some great theming, and really has a nice feel to it. Another ride I really like at Epcot is the Grand Fiesta Tour. You can find the Grand Fiesta Tour in the Mexico Pavilion in the World Showcase at the time of filming. So we'll see if that changes, but we haven't heard anything. So for now, I'm sticking with the idea that it is going to remain the Grand Fiesta Tour. It's got Donald and it's got Jose Carioca in there, and you've got Panchito, and it's a story about how those two, Jose and Panchito, are trying to find Donald. Donald gets lost. He's going on an adventure through Mexico. It's beautifully built. The music is fantastic. The animatronics are beautiful. The screens and the shows that they show you are beautiful as well, stunning. So really, really nice views. If you haven't been on that one, if you like a dark ride where you sit there and you just look at all of the amazing, beautiful things around you, I would really recommend the Grand Fiesta Tour in World Showcase in the Mexico Pavilion. Really, again, nice theming to it, and I like that boat ride. Even before you go into the ride itself, you see sort of different pyramids, you see some of the dining areas over there on your right. So just the entire ride gives you some beautiful views. You get to experience all there is in the Mexico Pavilion. Another favorite in Epcot is fish and chips in England. So if you're looking for a great snack while you're going throughout your day, you're trying to get some food, getting kind of hungry, wondering what you're going to eat, you may want to consider some fish and chips from England. They do have some delicious fish and chips. Some of the best fish and chips I've ever had, honestly. Now, one tip on this one, I don't recommend the water from the fish and chips pavilion in England. So if you're getting a cup of water, maybe walk over to France or something. That's just my personal taste, my recommendation. I like to get water from other venues. I did like to go to Starbucks. This is, again, a tangent here, but I did like to go to Starbucks for my filtered water. Currently closed in Epcot at the time of filming. They're doing some construction, bringing here the future of Epcot. But anyways, the fish and chips itself is delicious. Really, really delicious flavors to them. I want to say they're both fried, so they're fried foods. You've got a nice sort of, I want to say it's kind of greasy or oily in the fish, but I mean it in a good way. It does have a nice amount of sort of, how do I describe this? It's kind of soaked in a way in oil. The oil's kind of baked in through the fish in a way that makes it a really soft fish. When you bite it, just kind of falls off the rest of the fish. It's got delicious flavors to it. It's a great one. If you're looking for some good fish and chips, England is a spot for you to consider. Number 7 is, for me, the Figment ride, Journey into Imagination. Now, I know a lot of people may not love this ride, and it's changed many times over the years. The original, I think, was one of our favorites, but I love Figment. I love the character. I love the story. Again, just the kind of concept that goes with Figment, the power of imagination and what dreams can create for you. And so that's one of the reasons I love the Figment ride. It's really a great one, and again, it's all about that story. Now, you will see some beautiful animatronics, some funny sort of music, and some funny singing and that kind of thing involved in that ride. So if you haven't been on the Figment ride before, it is a dark ride, if you will. Again, a seated ride. It's kind of slower. You go around the track, and you may smell different things or see different things or hear different things that use your imagination. But it's a great story. I love Figment, so I gotta love that ride. If you've never taken the time to tour the countries in the World Showcase, if you've never walked around and seen all the countries in the World Showcase, including France and Germany, Norway and America, all of those countries in the World Showcase, I would recommend it. I would recommend taking the time just to walk around and to see the sights. You'll find different shows. For example, America has sort of a theater set up where they'll do shows occasionally, and of course there's the voices, the singing right inside the America Pavilion. You'll see that a lot of them have rides as well as restaurants for you to try. So walking around the World Showcase, even if you don't necessarily have a particular activity planned, can be a really fun experience. Look at the theming of a lot of these countries. China's got some great theming. There's some great gift shops. Japan's got a great gift shop. All kinds of really cool stuff to see in the World Showcase if you haven't taken the time to walk around it and just look around and just kind of experience it all. Again, walk in the different areas and see the shops and see the restaurants and see how they've built out the World Showcase, because it really is amazing to see the attention to detail that's so unique to each of these countries in each country of the World Showcase, in each pavilion. So again, really worth checking out if you haven't seen it before. Number 9, at the time of filming, the current show at Epcot is Epcot Forever. Actually, just recently started with Epcot Forever. It's a new show going on in wake of, or in replacement of, the Illumination show while they're waiting to bring in Harmonious. So, Epcot Forever is a great show. It is, I feel like it's short, And so that's one of the hesitation points for me. It's a really short show, but I can understand, again, they're just kind of saving a lot of these effects for that big show coming right around the corner. But it is a great show. I love the flaming sort of kites that go around the lake. A lot of those effects that utilize the water and those kites are really, really cool. So some great music in that one, some great fireworks in that one. I'm hoping to go back and recatch some footage of that one coming up, because last time I took it, I didn't come out too well. I also didn't know the show too well. But overall, it really is a cool show, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again and seeing if my review of it changes at all. Number 10 at Epcot to make sure you check out, maybe a little bit too late for me to be saying this, but it's Spaceship Earth. If you haven't been on Spaceship Earth, it tells a story of sort of humans and their history and how we've evolved as a species and how we've learned and grown and sort of what the future looks like for us going forward. It really is an amazing story, kind of beautiful to reflect on our past as a species, see where language factored in, see where roads and other technology factored into our being. Again, really, really cool concepts. Now, Spaceship Earth is not going away. They're changing Spaceship Earth, and it's going to be a little bit different from when it was in the past. I'm sure it's going to be awesome as well, but it may close by the time you watch this. At the time of filming, it's still open, but it may be subject to closing sooner rather than later, so just keep your eyes open for that one. In replacement of Spaceship Earth, in the event that one's closed, I want to make sure you've got enough options here. So the backup number 10, another one that I like a lot, you could call it number 11, is Living with the Land. Living with the Land is a fantastic attraction as well, where you sit in this vehicle. It does go on water again as well, but it's really slow moving, and you see a lot of nature. You see the land, you see the animals, you see vegetables and all kinds of videos that show you what our world is like, some of these natural environments that exist in our world and how we live with our land. It really is a nice ride to, again, be able to sit back, relax, go at a slower pace, and get a better understanding of the world that we live in. Really nice ride if you're looking for something fun to do, especially in the Land Pavilion. One thing I do want to note while we're discussing Epcot here is a lot of things in Epcot are subject to change. At the time of filming, Epcot is going under renovations that were just announced at D23, and a lot of changes are coming to the parks. So again, we're keeping our eyes open for these changes coming up here real soon. A lot of rides will be changing, and I'm sure some new favorite attractions will be added to this list soon. Maybe some new restaurants. I'm looking forward to the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. I'm looking forward to Space 220. There's so many things to look forward to in Epcot. Mary Poppins is coming to England, and Ratatouille is still on the way, coming up here hopefully real soon as well. So really, really excited for all these changes to Epcot, but do keep in mind that a lot of these things I touched on are potentially subject to change. Looking forward to continuing to seeing what the future of Epcot looks like, but overall, it's a great experience, worth checking out, spending some time at Epcot, and we'll see what that future of Epcot looks like. What did you think of this list? Do you agree with me? Do you think a lot of these attractions and these dining venues make sense? Do you prefer other things? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for being a part of the fun with me today. For more fun, family-friendly adventures, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay informed. And until next time, play on. Number 10 in the Epcot